crazy.
You're refusing him service?
The manager has apparently told them that they can't serve people that aren't wearing masks, even though as soon as they
If you guys don't wear a mask,
and then they take off
I'm going to call the police to come here.
The particular tutor didn't like what was going on and decided to take matters into his own hand. Obviously made some claims that his life or the life of his student were in jeopardy from people that were holding grocery bags and had displayed no hint of aggression towards them, and decided to waste police resources and call the police. And when the police came, things escalated quickly by no account of any of our actions.
We haven't even. Hey! This is way overkill. Get on the camera. Get on the camera. This is ridiculous. Give me your phone back. Record everything. Put your hand behind your back. There's no reason for this, sir. He has not been violent at all. Come on. I'm down. I'm down. I'm not resisting. This is Ontario and Alberta stuff. What are you doing? Record this guy.
It was quite scary when the officer put me in the chokehold because, like I said, we had only been outside for 50 seconds, and I thought we were just having a nice, cordial discussion. And next thing you know, I'm being put in a chokehold, and he's on top of me.
You're not going to believe what you see in this report. Law-abiding citizens were arrested after shopping in a coffee shop without a mask on by the Vancouver Police Department.
Warning. Censorship. Warning.
I try to give credit where credit's due. It gets exhausting complaining about the decisions that public health officers and bureaucrats have been doing to us over the last 18 months. And one of the things, or one of the groups I've applauded on the back, have been the Vancouver Police Department when it comes to our protesters, our peaceful pro-freedom protesters. They've done a great job at balancing our rights as well as what's being asked of them regarding COVID-19. And then there was these three. Behind me, you see Darren, Lisa, and Al, who were simply trying to get a cup of coffee from Blenz back in June. That's before the indoor mask mandate was dropped. And they were all there with their bare faces. Let's take a clip. Let's look at a clip right now of what happened.
What? You're refusing him service?
The manager has apparently told them that they can't serve people that aren't wearing masks, even though as soon as they
If you guys don't wear a mask,
and then they take off
I'm going to call the police to come here.
Go ahead, sir.
And the police will teach
Are you aware of Ministerial Order M425 by Mike Farnworth? Educate yourself, buddy.
Okay, first of all, we apologize for you guys having to come out and deal with the situation.
Okay, let's go outside. Right now you're trespassing, so we gotta go outside, okay? And you're not wearing a mask, so let's go outside.
Okay, first of all,
So if you don't go outside, I'm on duty as a police officer. You're under arrest for obstruction. Okay? If you don't, let's just go outside. It doesn't even get to that. But I'm on duty as a police officer. You guys are obstructing us from doing our job. You will be arrested for obstruction.
we'll have a conversation outside. We'll have you will sit and have a conversation with
I'm not gonna sit, but we'll have a conversation. So come on.
Okay, yeah, I'm independent media. I'm just recording this guy.
You still are gonna get a ticket for not wearing a mask too.
You can give me a ticket if you want, but I have a medical exemption, sir.
Okay, well, do you have that with you?
I do not need to show that to you.
Then you will get a ticket. So.
Well, you can do whatever you want, sir, but this is all going to be recorded.
Absolutely.
Together, we'll do it all together.
I like the transparency. So come on over here. Maybe in just a minute you're going to provide. They claim to be independent media. Come on over here.
Why would I be given a ticket as an independent journalist covering the news?
Right now, you have to wear masks inside stores. Just like
No, you don't. Have you? No. Are you aware of Ministerial Order M425?
Okay. Do you have a piece of ID?
No, sir.
Okay. You have to ID yourself because I'm going to write you a ticket.
No, I don't.
You're going to be under arrest for obstruction.
I do not need to ID myself.
I'll give you your last warning.
Under what law?
Okay. I'm in the court.
First of all, why are you coming after me? He was the one who was trying to buy a drink. I'm independent media.
I know. I'm going to.
So you're going after media instead of the guy who's trying to buy a drink?
So,
why are you coming after media? Freedom of the press is important for Canada, buddy.
I know, but
You're infringing upon that.
This is your last warning.
What, are you going to touch me now?
I'm going to arrest you for obstruction unless you give me your ID.
You're going to arrest me for being independent media?
Arrest for obstruction.
Because I'm the guy with the camera. Yeah. Whoa.
We haven't even. We haven't even. Hey! This is way overkill. Get on the camera. Get on the camera. This is ridiculous. Give me your phone back. Record everything. Put your hand behind your back. There's no reason for this, sir. He has not been violent at all. Come on. I'm down. I'm down. I'm not resisting. This is Ontario and Alberta stuff. What are you doing? Record this, guys. I am not resisting arrest. He has not resisted. He has not been physical. He's not been. He's not been violent at all.
listen to me. There was no reason for that force, buddy. Is caught on my belt. I'm going to try to get
this
a
wasn't
separate
necessary.
here. Just don't move, okay? Otherwise, don't do anything stupid, buddy. You've already used unnecessary force. You keep your taser away from me. You keep your away from me.
Relax. What's your name?
There was no need for that unnecessary force, buddy.
What's your name? What's your name?
None of your business.
We didn't even get to
None of your
explain
business.
the issue to you.
You guys are infringing upon freedom of the press. I'm an independent journalist. I was not buying the drink. You arrested the wrong guy.
302.
You went after the journalist because I had the camera. Yeah, I'm not gonna calm down. I'm not gonna calm down. You guys just use unnecessary force to beat up the journalist. You guys. Is this what it's come to? Is this enforcing the law? You guys got my selfie stick?
This is unbelievable.
Now, Darren, you were shopping. You guys were talking about, shopping without a mask and going over the BC human rights and stuff. But for some reason, you end up being the first arrested, and you're an independent journalism, correct? Tell us what you do and tell us what you were thinking when that happened.
Yeah, well, I have an independent news channel where I've been covering the Vancouver protests ever since the lockdown started happening. So I cover the protests and I do on-the-street interviews. And in this specific case, I was just with some friends at a coffee shop and they were being denied service. So I started to record because it's always a good idea. You never know what you're going to be accused of. In this case, we were accused by one of the other customers of all kinds of things. So I was recording. My friends were denied service. And once the police arrived at the Blenz, we left as the police instructed us. And within 50 seconds of having left the Blenz, and I was just asking some basic questions about why am I being ticketed? Why am I being arrested? Within 50 seconds of leaving the store, I was being put in a chokehold and thrown to the ground.
It's crazy to... Yeah, it's absolutely crazy to watch that and how fast it progressed. And you're like, why me? Like, he was buying the coffee. I'm the journalist. What's going on here? Another thing that I wasn't sure of is who exactly called the police, because it looked like you guys were having, a nice conversation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the person that called the police was apparently giving a tutoring lesson inside the Blenz. And then there was a discussion with them that became a little heated as they accused us of various ridiculous things. And they threatened to call the cops. And if we didn't leave, nobody at the store asked us to leave. The staff was perfectly fine with engaging in a rational discussion about current laws. And Ali was nice enough to quote the laws for them. And they seemed to be handling the discussion just fine. But the particular tutor didn't like what was going on and decided to take matters into his own hand. Obviously made some claims that his life or the life of his student were in jeopardy from people that were holding grocery bags and had displayed no hint of aggression towards them, and decided to waste police resources and call the police. And when the police came, things escalated quickly. By no account of any of our actions. The police were supposed to de-escalate the situation, and they did the exact opposite.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're supposed to de-escalate, keep the peace and stuff like that, and they seem just really ready to go. And if the owners are not calling about trespassing, it's interesting why they're, saying you have to identify yourself and stuff like that. Now, both of you guys were saying you're not resisting arrest. Tell us what was going through your head then.
Oh, yeah, it was quite scary when the officer put me in the chokehold because, like I said, we had only been outside for 50 seconds. And I thought we were just having a nice, cordial discussion. And next thing you know, I'm being put in a chokehold and he's on top of me. And his belt actually got caught in my backpack and ripped my backpack to pieces. So, I've never been arrested before. I've never had problems with the law. And I just started to think about all these videos where you see officers like shooting people by accident. And I told him, look, I'm not resisting. I was screaming, I'm not resisting. And I said, please don't take your gun out. Because when he told me that his belt was caught on my backpack, I was scared.
Yeah, I think it was smart to yell that you're not resisting as well. Now, what were you thinking? You see him go down, and now you're standing and they come towards you.
It was unbelievable. I was just like, I was shocked because, as you said, the VPD have been really, really good with us for the most part at all of our protests. And then I'm like, and he asked us to go outside and have a conversation. And then the next thing you know, 45, 50 seconds later, they're down on the ground. And I was just shocked. And I couldn't even get the words out. And normally I have words, but at that time I was just like shocked, and you could see me in the video just standing there kind of like, what is happening here? This isn't, this is like Ontario police tactics, right? What we've seen in the past.
Yeah, you guys call them out for that.
Shouting out in the video, because this is not what I was seeing in Vancouver either. For the last while, I've been going to the freedom rallies, and there's probably video of me on the freedom rallies going up to the police and thanking them for what they've been doing. They've been marching us downtown, giving us escorts, and I'd been appreciative of it, and not trying to show my gratitude. In over 30 years of mid 20 years of working together with the police in hospitality role, I've never had any situations with the police that that escalated in the wrong way like this one did. Nothing even remotely close. So I had no expectations that anything like that would happen when we had to try to explain to them exactly what happened and save them the time and waste of resources that they did by throwing us all in jail and arresting us with original significant charges.
Well, it's all very shocking to see. Now, all three of you are arrested. There is some good news. Might not be over yet, but tell us what were the charges and what's happened with them now?
The arresting officer told me I was being arrested for obstruction of justice, specifically interfering in Ali's arrest. So while they were busy tackling Ali for explaining his rights in a rational way, and them not liking somebody that stands up for their rights, and specifically that has a channel and an audience that can let Canadians know about their rights. They took him down with ridiculous amount of force for somebody who hadn't shown any signs of aggression. I didn't jump in, but I moved to the side a little bit to where I could see that he wasn't getting choked and he wasn't getting punched in the head, because a second guy had come in and put a knee towards his shoulder and neck, as you can see in the video pretty clearly. And you can also see in the video a little bit later when they backup arrived, their emergency backup, which apparently needed 12 squad cars to make the situation calmed down for a situation with three people holding grocery bags that showed no sign of aggression towards anybody. When that happened, they asked me to back up, and you can see that I take at least 6 steps back to the sidewalk before grocery bag is ripped out of my hand, and I'm taken down to the ground by 2 of them, including an undercover. The situation was, the arresting officer later told me, as I'm sitting in the back of the van, which we all sat in the back of the police vehicles for over 45 minutes that night before being taken to jail for something like this, which is also something we hadn't seen in Vancouver. They told me that I was being arrested for obstruction of justice, for interfering in Ali's arrest, which is clearly contradicted by the video. And they knew that. And that's why, after lawyering up in jail, they dropped the charges down to mischief causing a disturbance. And we've been told that those charges are about as serious as having your stereo on too loud in an apartment building and having somebody in your building call and complain to the cops. Yeah. And those charges were subsequently dismissed when we all went in to get our ID and our fingerprinting, which they told us we were forced to do. Otherwise, they'd put arrest warrants out for us. These are the type of waste of resources that we're seeing in Vancouver today.
Yeah. Absolutely. It seems very excessive. I reached out to the VPD to get a statement about this situation, and they said their media liaison, Tanya, claims that it was the staff that called the police. That's quite different than what we saw in the actual video. And she says that VPD officers responded to the request for help and asked the anti-maskers, there's that trigger word that makes people seem less than human, asked the anti-maskers to leave the coffee shop. The officers intended to write tickets to some of the anti-maskers for violating the Emergency Program Act. However, 3 people allegedly refused to identify themselves, so they were arrested for obstruction of a police officer. The 3 offenders were released a short time later once their identities were confirmed. Now, I replied to Tanya, I wanted to know if she was certain that it was in fact the staff, because again, that's not what we saw in the video. And I also wanted to know that since in the video, it didn't appear that the staff had actually asked these shoppers to leave while they engaged in discussion about exemptions and whatnot, what exactly was the crime that the police were investigating that would require these shoppers to have presented their identification? I haven't heard back yet, but if I do in a timely fashion, I'll update it in the written report at rebelnews.com. Now, where are you guys at with this? This was extremely excessive. Are you guys still pursuing doing anything about this? And what message do you have to Canadians who wear a mask inside and we're fine? Why should they be concerned about the way you guys were treated? It's 2 questions, I know.
Good questions.
Sure. Well, I would just like to mention that at the time I was arrested, the officer, he called for backup. He said, I have independent media here. He saw that I had a selfie stick. I had 2 microphones. I had my cell phone. So he knew that all of that was my property. And when he arrested me, all of my stuff was thrown to the ground. I kindly asked the officers, please, can you put my microphones in my backpack? Now, once I was released from jail, I had none of my original belongings in my backpack besides some old coupons and like Ziploc bags. So they had taken everything out of my backpack, including my wallet, my selfie stick, my microphones. And I was told at that time that I should look for my stuff with the other people that I was arrested with. But on my arrest papers, it says that I'm not allowed to have any contact with them. So my bullhorn...
I had your microphone. Right.
Yeah, Lisa. So my bullhorn was given to the Vancouver police. My bullhorn was given to the Vancouver police property office. I live in Squamish. I drove all the way to Vancouver to pick it up. When I got there, they told me that I needed to get the arresting officer's permission to pick it up, which I was not told. So I had to come back a second time for that. As for my microphones, one of them was given to Lisa. She's given it back to me since. My selfie stick was given to Darren. I've gotten that back. He also $50 was taken out of my wallet, given to Darren. I've gotten that back. I'm still missing my other microphone. That's a $300 Rode microphone. And so I've been trying to get in contact with the officer and seeing like who might have my microphone. And, you know, I always think that the most plausible explanation is usually the simplest one. And that it could just be that the Vancouver police are just completely incompetent. But in this case, it just seems impossible that this could be incompetence. Like, how is it that I was the independent media? They got all their stuff back and, the same night. And my stuff was just completely given to all these different people in different locations. And I still haven't gotten it back.
Wow. Can you believe that? They were hurt, humiliated, and arrested, even had some of their things taken, all for simply asking, what laws did I break as being a healthy and asymptomatic individual trying to get coffee? This is our reality. It's scary times. So again, please stop situations like this from happening. We're probably going to see this again with the vaccine situation if we don't stand united against this. Please, if you can, donate what you can at fightthefines.com. Drea Humphrey for Rebel News. If you appreciated that we're giving a voice to people like you just saw who were arrested for living as Canadians should live, then please help support our ability to do so. This mic that I'm using right now has been giving us nothing but trouble. And so we're trying to crowdfund for some of the things that we need to make sure we don't run into complications when we bring you the other side of the story. So you can support our journalism and help us get our message out by donating at ournewsstudio.com. We appreciate your support.